Today, I want to talk about something else aside from the astral projection videos I've done before. I guess I've mentioned before how the death of my dog, Monsieur, was very intense for me, and it started me on, a different intensity of spiritual path that I'd been on before. And when he first left this world, I kind of found myself desperate to find a way to see him again. And I knew somehow that astral projection was going to be difficult for me at that time because, first of all, I hadn't practiced in a while, a couple of years actually. And also the negative emotions usually keep you down in the lower vibrations, so it's harder to access the astral realms when you're not feeling emotionally well. And I really wanted to bypass that. I wanted to find a way to be able to see him on the other side. And so I think it was in the first week after he died, I found a retreat. Well, I actually remembered I'd learned about ayahuasca maybe 5 or 6 or 8 years before by watching a Netflix special or Netflix, documentary on it. And I had always been curious, and somehow it popped back into my mind that was my key to, figuring out both, where is he now? Is he okay? Getting reconnected with my spiritual side, and maybe figuring out my purpose here, because I couldn't find a purpose for myself here anymore. And so ayahuasca seemed like, that's going to help me out. Ayahuasca is a really intense trip. You've probably heard about it. It's not for everyone. And while I'm making this video, I'm not recommending it to people or not recommending it. I'm not someone trying to advocate for ayahuasca. I'm just saying that this is something I thought was going to help me at the time with my grief. And so it wasn't even 3 weeks after Monsieur died. I was in Mexico and I was doing a retreat with ayahuasca ceremonies. And I had the choice. I could have gone to anyone. There are so many all around the world. Some of them you go and you have a ceremony every night. Some of them you go in big groups, like 100 people are at the same place. And I figured I'd choose something that was more intimate, and I went with an 8-person group in Mexico with 2 ceremonies over 4 nights. I was there 4 nights and 5 days, if I remember correctly. And I had 2 ayahuasca ceremonies planned during that retreat. So I went in that retreat with all my grief, all my sadness, all my pain, all my trauma, everything I was trying to overcome that was so heavy on me. And it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. So I'm going to explain a bit about how that went and what my experience was. So when I got there, the 8 people were there. The first day was, a lot of introductions, getting to know people. We had a circle where we all get into a circle. We talk. There was a theme to the week where every day represented one of the elements. Like the first day was Earth Day, and the second day was Water Day. Third was Fire, and fourth was Air. All of these days were centered around that theme. So the first day, I'm not really sure if I remember exactly everything we did, but I remember the circle and introductions and getting to know our shamans, because we had one like elder shaman, and then we had maybe a support shaman that was helping out. We also had other shamans coming to help with the music during the ceremonies and stuff like that. And that was nice. We got to get to know them. And so the second day we went to visit some cenotes. Those are like underground mini lakes you know, you're underground and there's like water and streams, and you go into caves, swimming in that water in the caves. And so that was the second day. And then the second night is when we had the first ayahuasca ceremony. So during the ayahuasca ceremony, it was very ritualistic. You know, there was music, there was candles, there were things in the middle with all of the, you know, like symbols of what we're trying to accomplish during the ceremony. And there were other preparations before the actual drinking of the ayahuasca, because it was a drink you had to drink. So they gave us like other, I guess, other medicines. One of them was a spray under your tongue. Another one was hape, is, you know, you sniff it in your nose and it helps to balance out the hemispheres in your brain. And then essential oils, yeah, things like that. They had tobacco smudge to help open up and close up the chakras at the beginning and the end of the crown chakra, at the beginning and the end of the ceremony. During the ceremony, they ask us to have a goal, like why we're there, what we're trying to work on. Of course, I was trying to reach out to Monsieur, find out if he's doing okay. And maybe if I couldn't get that information, or after I'd gotten that information, trying to figure out what my purpose here is now that he's gone. It's not like I don't have a purpose, but at that time, I could not find a purpose for myself here. It just felt like I wanted to be with him. I wanted to leave this world. And so I was trying to find something to hold on to. A lot of my grieving in the first initial, you know, the initial months after he died was all about trying to find a way to overcome my urge to leave this world and go be with him. So all these things I did, I was trying to anchor myself here, and getting answers was going to help with that. So during the ceremony, you drink a drink made of the ayahuasca. It tastes really nasty. It's kind of, I can't even describe it. Like, it's disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's nasty. And you drink it because you have to, and then you can take more, I think 90 minutes after. So you have it, you lay down, you're supposed to be quiet, everyone's quiet, you go into and after 90 minutes, if you don't have you're not already in the experience intensely and, you know, getting what you're supposed to get out of the psychedelic trip, well then you take some more. And you do that every 90 minutes. And the ceremony lasted several hours. It started like at 7 in the evening, 7 or 9, lasted until like 4 in the morning. So everyone was drinking ayahuasca. And then you lay down after your first drink, and the whole night is you're laying down, your eyes are closed, or you might sit up. You're probably gonna throw up. There's a lot of purging. You can't even make it to the bathroom. It's so intense, the buzz from the ayahuasca, that you can't walk to the bathroom. We had a bathroom. This was out in nature. We had a nice little place to do this in nature, and there was a bathroom maybe 50 feet, no, not even 50, 50 feet away from where we were having the ceremony. And we got lost on the way to the bathroom. That's how high you are on ayahuasca. You can't make it to the bathroom. You get lost. You don't know where you are. You stop. You don't know why you're here, who you are. And people find you there. Like even the shamans are doing the ayahuasca, so they're concentrating back in the tent to take care of the people. But I mean, you could be out there for an hour, 2 hours, and not realize that you're lost. So you just stay there. You don't know how to get back, how to get to the bathroom. You throw up in the woods. It's disgusting. But all of this is in preparation for the spiritual opening you're supposed to get on the ayahuasca. I didn't know what to expect, and I wasn't scared. I just wanted to find out if this was going to help me, and if it could, I was ready to do anything. So I drank the ayahuasca. I did all of the preparation work with the golden root and the, I wrote them down earlier. There was, like all these drops they put in our eyes. It burned the eyes. It was so intense. It's to help you have visions, and it's supposed to activate your nervous system. And then the sniffing of the hape and all of that. I did all of that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm giving my all to this. It needs to work for me. And then I lay down. The music that they play is specifically to induce different states. So sometimes they're gonna, it's so weird, but some of these songs they're singing and the music that they play along with the songs, they make you sick. It's on purpose. The music is there at that time during the ceremony to make you sick so that you purge, because purging is part of the process of the psychedelic trip. And so sometimes the music is super exciting and you get really stimulated, and then maybe you have some nice visions during that time. So it helps you go into like dark places and light places, and the music really directs the mood you're in. So environment really plays a role in the experience you get. So you listen to that. I really don't like puking. That's not my thing. I can't. It's just so I did everything I could not to purge that way. I would stand up, try to dance, but you're not really supposed to, and the purging is part of the process. And maybe that's why my experience was not what I expected, is because I held back during the experience with the purging. Maybe, who knows? But then I did start to get some visual disturbances, spatial disturbances, a lot like any other drug trip. Not that I do drugs. I did when I was younger. I have, experiences I can refer back to. So yes, like some people were standing up and circulating around, like especially the helpers, but sometimes your neighbors would get up and walk or go to the bathroom and get lost. But some of these, the people I saw while I was under the influence of ayahuasca seemed like super tall giants, like the sleeping giants, like tall, like tall people, like not like how you see them live. They would be standing like or walking around, and they look like giants. And they also looked like they were super close when they probably weren't. It looked like everyone was standing like right here, super tall beside me. So it's kind of cool to know it's working, but I wasn't there just for a drug trip, right? Or visual hallucinations. That wasn't getting me impressed at all. I was waiting for like the real stuff, the enlightenment and spiritual awakening, or whatever experience that would, propulse me into some other dimension to get my answers. And so that wasn't happening. But what did happen, and I'm going to be making other videos about psychedelics I've tried, and even like past life hypnosis, regression, and all that stuff. And something did happen during that ceremony that I just didn't know was how that worked. And that was, at some point, I got a vision. It felt almost like my eyes are closed. It felt like a daydream. The vision was some hands like this, and then right here above my hands was my dog. And it was kind of like doing this, like telling me you have to let him go. Okay, so my dog, you have to let him go. When I saw that, I kind of questioned, why am I having a vision like this? First of all, like, it's not coming from me because I'm not letting my dog go. And so I questioned what I was seeing. And then I guess I kind of realized that's what it meant. Like, it was actually some kind of vision made for me to understand that I have to let him go. But that made me super upset. Because, okay, one thing you have to understand is ayahuasca is thought to be a spirit of that plant medicine, the ayahuasca. So when you're doing the ceremonies and the shamans talk about them, they talk about ayahuasca as Mama Ayahuasca. It's like the female spirit of that plant medicine is Mama Ayahuasca. And so every experience you get is her sharing some part of her knowledge with you or helping you with something. So it's a female spirit inside the ayahuasca plant. And so it kind of sounds weird. And when I heard that initially, I'm like, okay, fine. And I didn't do much with that, but later I realized that it's true. There is a spirit of the plant that really rises when you take her inside you. And so she was sharing this vision with me and telling me to let him go. And when I realized that's what she was saying and what was happening and what I was learning from my ayahuasca trip, it upset me because I didn't fly to Mexico and do all of this stuff. There was preparatory work. You know, you had to be on a diet for like 2 weeks before you went there, and all these things I did just to go have an ayahuasca trip and get some answers, just to be told, let him go. It's like I'm not ready to move on and let my dog go. It's like I want to go see him. So yeah. And I was so upset that I said no. Like inside my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I was, you know, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to let him go. And so I said no. And then I heard a voice say, you're on your own. And then I felt like I was abandoned. Like it was a very dark moment in my trip where I felt like I thought I was going to get some help with this psychedelic experience. And when she finally shows up in my trip, she tells me something I didn't want to hear. And then she tells me I'm on my own. And yeah, it was a dark, dark place. That space, that moment in the trip where I felt like life had abandoned me. And that's kind of part of the trip, is you go there and you might not get the answers you want. You might have to uncover a lot of trauma. I was lucky maybe that's all I got. That was very hard to swallow. But then I was pissed and I told her, you know, I'm not like this. But I did say, well then fuck off. Like, fuck off, like get out of here. And my trip was over then. I told her to leave and the trip was over. And then I was laying there. I was still having the visual disturbances, spatial disturbances. I did go to the bathroom and I did get lost. I came back and I said, maybe half hour later I came back. And after I came back, I laid down. I said, well, I have to lay here. I knew my trip was like, I wasn't going to get any other answers from Mama Ayahuasca. I knew. And so I laid down and I'm like, I'm going to try to meditate. I'm going to try to astral project. Like I'm probably in the right headspace right now to meditate and try to astral project. And so I laid down and then I started meditating and then I got a big vision. It was a vision of this thing, like a little wand, short wand of light, you know, and it was right above my third eye like this. And I knew that somehow I was being told or shown that my third eye's closed, you know, like it's not going to happen. And then I still tried, it didn't work. And eventually I was just very, very disappointed with my experience and upset and frustrated and angry at Mama Ayahuasca. And I felt like, oh my God, what did I do? Why did I come here? This is so dark. Like, this feels like a dark experience. Why the hell would I come here and get a dark experience like this? That's not what I signed up for. This is not what I thought it was. And it felt like, oh, this is just bad drugs, bad drugs. So yeah, I had a bad trip. And I thought I wasn't going to do the second ceremony. I was so upset. I was telling everyone, yeah, no, I'm not going to do the second one. I think I'm going home. Like, I'm going to think about it today, but I'm pretty sure I'm not doing the second one. This is not for me. This is not helping. This is not going to help. And yeah, I went to meet with the shaman to talk about my personal situation, because you do have the opportunity, if you choose, to go do some integration work with the shaman. And so I chose to go because I was considering leaving anyway, so I had nothing to lose. And she was very helpful, and she convinced me to try again. And everyone there was so upset, they wanted me to continue. And it's not that there was peer pressure, I didn't feel that, but I kind of decided that since I'm here anyways, might as well try to see if I can get a second nicer experience. So I did try to raise my vibrations. I did try to be positive and, you know, all that stuff, which I hadn't really been since the beginning of the retreat. So on the second night, well, it was the fourth night, I think, we had a second ayahuasca ceremony. And yeah, nothing happened. Zero. Not even like one message, not even visual hallucinations. It was almost like I had taken nothing, and I had done exactly the same thing as the first experience. I'm sharing this because a lot of people get interested in psychedelics nowadays. I guess it was kind of not as popular 10 years ago. It still was existing. It's existed forever. It was super, you know, popular during the hippie days for sure. And there are all sorts of psychedelics out there, and I did try a couple after Monsieur, and I'm going to talk about them in other videos for sure. But for the ayahuasca, which is probably the most intense one there is, and it's an experience that lasts several hours. There's the potential for some great things and the potential for some really bad trips. There was a lady who was there who had like really huge revelations about her life, and she wasn't even there with a lot of trauma. She was there to support her husband, and she's the one who got the most spectacular of the experiences there. So it really depends on a lot of things, and nothing's guaranteed that the experience you're going to get is what you're looking for. It sure wasn't for me at that time. It was absolutely not what I was expecting. It wasn't even a big deal when you think about it. It was just a moment of feeling like this is not going to help me. I still continued to look for answers. And so, yeah, so that's why I'm sharing this experience. But also, I think it was the beginning of me searching for answers. And it didn't matter what answers I got. I was searching for a way to feel better, to have answers about death and life and spirituality. And I guess the ayahuasca was a way to explore that. So if some of you were looking to go for an ayahuasca trip, just know that before you get into it. It's that it might not be what you're expecting. So after this, I had a lot of other experiences. Look at my videos. I'm going to be trying to share them in order of how they happened for me over the last 2 years, because soon it's going to be 2 years that Monsieur passed, and there was a lot of these experiences in those 2 years. I'm sorry for the long video. I'm sorry for some of the pauses and me trying to remember. This was in September 2023, and as I'm recording this, it's August 2025. I did write a few notes, but trying to remember is pretty hard now, and that's what the experience was. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please thumbs up or subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. And I'll see you soon. Bye.